Hey, welcome to Dead on Debut, Parade of the Dead. It's Daboo, he's back, and he's hungry for more. So just heavy disclaimer before we start. This is mostly a strat, or I guess kind of like, just to show off a run of Daboo of the Dead without using high level Jamiera, because I know there's a lot of people who either can't or doesn't want to invest on their Jamiera. Mostly their Manic Jamiera, because you can't naturally choose to not invest on Jamiera, unfortunately. So that's the disclaimer here. Essentially, if you have or if you can invest in your Manic Jamiera, try to do that, because that's actually probably the better choice. This is essentially to just show that, hey, you can still do it without boosted Jamiera and such with ShiGong, but it would still be pretty scary with ShiGong. And not to mention, my ShiGong is quite at a high level, which is why I compensate with having my units at not true form for my other units. Here I'm using Pole Vaulter, Castaway, and Hip Hop, all at second form, just to show off that, like, hey, you don't need that much of a boost here with ShiGong. Although I do have zombie treasures and high level ShiGong, it doesn't really matter that much. So for this lineup, the three casts that I mentioned earlier, Castaway, Vaulter, and Hip Hop, are mostly just the main damager, aka you can swap it out with literally any other better units or their true forms or some Ubers or something like that. There's the research combo here to help out Ramen and ShiGong, which honestly you can also probably swap one of the research combo if you want, maybe to a resist combo, maybe to another Uber or something like that. And Awakened Bahamut, of course, and Manic Mohawk. Manic Mohawk is mainly for the start off only, because every other unit pretty much in this lineup are relatively slow, and Manic Mohawk is good for stalling Daboo for like the first 20 seconds. So yeah, he's there for mostly just that. If you are confident that you don't need Manic Mohawk to stall for like the first half a minute of the stage, then you can swap him out for something else. I am currently using normal cannon, but if you have Holy Blast, even at level 1, use Holy Blast. That's definitely the better choice. That is the gist of this lineup, so let's begin. As you can see, like I mentioned earlier, I would start off with Manic Mohawk, as it is a cheap and fast mutual. It can get and stall Daboo for like the first half a minute of the stage before the peons come out. Once the boss wave has started, you should start on using both your Ramen and ShiGong, because the first wave are the double hippo and a couple of Gabriels and a couple of Zrokos. The problem with that is that currently, especially if you're not using Rich Cat, the Zrokos would melt the Ramen and the Hippo would melt ShiGong. You definitely would need to kill these as fast as possible, and generally without Rich Cat or without very very strong Ramen, that's just the phase that would get Daboo to push a lot. So try as much as possible to time your attackers to deal with the Zrokos and Gabriels and Hippos as fast as possible, because you're going to need it, or else Daboo will push really far. Even on this run, Daboo's already pushing really far, as you can see. It might be a little bit hard if you want to utilize Ubers, especially without Rich, because you're gonna require quite a lot of money for that, but just try your best to deal with the Hippo as fast as possible. Once you've killed out a couple of the Zrokos, you don't need to spawn that much ShiGong, and mostly just focus on Ramen and maybe a little bit of Manic Mohawk as well as attackers to deal with the Hippo. And of course you can use Cannon to cancel out Daboo's attack if you need to, and maybe even time out Sniper if you want. There are times where maybe you might want to turn off Sniper so that your attackers won't miss. After you deal with the Angelic Hippo, it would be the Zori phase, which in this case is where you should probably stop spawning Ramen and focus more on ShiGong instead, because there are no angel enemies to deal with. This is the phase where ShiGong can go all out, because Ramen can still fall under the face of Daboo, but ShiGong tanks both Daboo and the Zori and the Snake and all the other Zrokos, so that's not a problem for them. After this phase is probably one of the more feared phase, which is the Angelic Gory plus triple Hippo. Personally, this is where I would save Awakened Bahamut for. The triple Angelic Hippo are very tanky, and since you can't really fully rely on both Ramen nor ShiGong, because ShiGong, gets melted by the angels, and Ramen gets melted by Daboo, this is where I would personally use Awakened Bahamut. You could also consider saving out your cannon for this. You can also time out your sniper so that he can potentially knock Daboo to maximize your Awakened Bahamut usages. If you want to cannon the Hippo phase to interrupt Daboo's attack, you might want to consider that, mainly because if you use Canon here, or if you use Canon a little bit late, then you might not be able to use it on the Zeal phase after this. Try to line up all of the 3 hippos together before using Awakened Bahamut. Try not to just use it on the Angelic Gory, because that would be pretty premature. You're gonna want to try to hit as much Angelic Hippo as possible with Awakened Bahamut. So after that phase are the Zori and Zeal phase. This phase is definitely also less scary with ShiGong, but it's definitely still a phase to look out for. You definitely want to cannon out the Zeal as burrow as much as you can, because the Zeal's burrow range is extremely long. Like the previous zombie phase, try to focus mostly on just ShiGong here and less of Ramen and the others unless you really badly want to, and try to aim for the Z-kill for the Zeal and the Zori. If you can't Z-kill them, it's fine, but it could potentially cause trouble for the next phase. Even though this is pretty much the last hard phase in this stage, if you fail to Z-kill the Zeal or take too long to kill the Zeal, you could have trouble for the next phase because it will accompany you with 2 Angelic Hippos. At this point, it is possible that your Awakened Bahamut is up again, but don't rely on it. However, usually if you are pretty strong on the offensive, there's actually a good chance that you might already kill Daboo at this point. But if you are playing a little bit on the defensive or on the less non-so-boost side, then usually after this phase, you have pretty much secured your win. Even though Daboo is still pretty much alive up to this phase, you have pretty much won. That is Daboo of the Dead with ShiGong. Just in case you missed the big disclaimer at the start, this is mainly if you don't want or not able to invest on your Manic Jamiera or Jamiera cat. If you do have Manic Jamiera or can invest or want to invest on Manic Jamiera, please use Manic Jamiera because it actually makes the stage so much easier. Or if you have, other boosted Ubers or tankers that can fit in the stage. That is all for now. Hopefully this helps a little bit. As usual, don't copy this lineup one by one, especially if you have actual better units. Guides are mainly just, like guidelines. They're not supposed to be like a one-to-one instruction. They're meant to just give you an idea. So hopefully this gives you an idea on what to do in the stage. That's the end of this guide. Hopefully this helps a little bit. But honestly, if you already have ShiGong, it might not have helped you that much, mainly because you probably already beaten the stage. But either way, hopefully this helps anyways to give you an idea on what to do. That is all, thank you for watching. If you ask me on why am I doing this instead of just using my normal text base, mostly because of experimenting, honestly, I kinda just wanna try. It's been a while since I last did this, and I just kinda wonder how much I've changed from that. So because of that, please do tell me about what you think about this format too. Is it maybe better for you because you don't have to focus on the text on the screen or whatever? Because if there are more positive feedback on this, then I might actually do this more often rather than doing a text-based guide. So yeah, thank you for watching. See you later. Good luck on getting that curling cat.